Sup nerds, I'm Betty. Hope you're all doing great today, and welcome. We're doing something a little different today. I kind of just wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about Electric Melee because it's something that I've been kind of, halfway scrutinizing since they did their changes on it and whatnot. I used to be an Electric Melee hater back before the changes. I thought it was kind of a below average set. And don't get it twisted, I still think it was a below average set. It's just that I made it on a tanker, and that was actually super fun. But this was also when tankers benefited a lot from their AoE, their expanded AoEs, and a couple other things that we'll get into that made Electric Melee special on them. But first, in case you haven't listened to the patch notes, I'm going to read them to you right now. So starting off at the top of the list, we have Jacob's Ladder, which saw a couple of adjustments. The first thing they did was they increased the recharge by 1 second, so instead of it being 8 seconds, it's now 9 seconds. They also increased the endurance cost from 8.5 to about 9.5. And then they also gave it a slight bump in damage, not a lot, but just a smidge. I guess it satisfies their power formula or whatever. This kind of has me scratching my head because I don't feel like Jacob's Ladder was an incredible power to begin with, but it was one you were kind of shoehorned into taking because, at that low level, you don't really have a lot going for you. You have Charge Brawl, Havoc Punch, and then Jacob's Ladder. So I guess this makes it a solid attack. But I don't know that it really needed the recharge and endurance adjustment. That doesn't really feel like a buff to me. It feels more like a side grade, ooey. It does kind of bump it into that sweet spot threshold for being an okay proc attack, and we'll get into that later. Moving on, we're gonna read on the notes for Chain Induction. So if you don't know anything about how Chain Induction used to work, it was straight up a single target attack that also had a bonus chain effect to adjacent targets. It was the first power of its kind. So there were no chain powers before Chain Induction came along, and this was a long time ago. This meant a couple of things. So the AoE portion of it really couldn't be boosted by anything except your enhancement aspect, but what it did do was serve a very great purpose as a single target attack in terms of being able to accept procs, because the procs would proc on your main target just fine. It's just that it wouldn't do anything in terms of the adjacent targets. So it was actually a very solid single target attack for the set, one that you wanted to lean on a lot. But now with the new changes, it is now actually just an AoE. It's coded that way. So if you do decide to throw procs in it, your AoE procs obviously, because that's the type of sets it accepts now, then it's going to follow the standard AoE proc formula. So it's not really a heavy single target hitter anymore. I do believe that it shares pretty much the same damage scaling as Havoc Punch. But Havoc Punch is definitely going to be your go-to for your single target rotation now, just because of the changes to Chain Induction. And then, we're going to move on to the next thing they did, which is now your best single target attack if you're playing Electric Melee, which is Lightning Clap. This is no longer just a AoE stun for you to, use as crowd control. It is now a single target attack with an AoE stun baked into it, kind of like Thunderstrike. And basically what they did was they made this a very, very chunky single target hit. We're talking in terms of in the 170, 175 base range at level 50 for a Scrapper. I think it was last time I checked. I glanced at it before I started enhancing. It does a lot of damage. They also cut the recharge time in half, so now you can use it in a rotation. It's going to take a little bit of recharge to get it there, but you can fit it in there. As you probably noticed from my gameplay, it does work. And then they also bumped up the accuracy of it, so it's reliable to hit. And they also changed the knockback to knockdown, so you don't even need a converter. You can just let it rock, and it does what you need it to do. This is cool. I think it's an interesting change, but not one that was necessarily needed. And I think it's because Jacob's Ladder was sitting right there. But I'll talk about that more in just a little bit, because there is just one final change that they did this go around, and that was to Lightning Rod. Now, Scrappers and Stalkers are not going to see too much difference from Lightning Rod, just that they apparently added a crit to it, which I'm not sure where it is. It says it's in the centermost point, but I have yet to see it work. And I've been playing the Scrapper you see on screen for a few sessions now. I've tried to get it to crit, and it doesn't work. If someone wants to disprove me and tell me that it's not just not functioning as intended, then go for it. I'm all ears. I want to know. I want to be able to use it for bursts on a boss, but I don't see it. The change, though, that does matter with Lightning Rod is the fact that it is now a true pseudo-pet for every archetype. Tankers used to be exempt from this because their version of it was bugged. Their pseudo-pet used to spawn in the floor, so sometimes it just would not work. So they changed it to just a regular AoE attack, which meant you could proc bomb it. So tankers enjoyed the luxury of having a proc bomb Lightning Rod that did dummy damage and really saved the AoE of the set. So yeah, with all that being said, let me go ahead and give you my impressions of it. So when I first tried it, the new electric melee out, I tried it on my tanker, just so I could see where things were going to be headed after the Lightning Rod nerf to them, or fix, however you want to look at it. And let me tell you, that tune is now suffering. Lightning Clap is good, but its single target rotation isn't what was bad on that tune. Let me preface this with the fact that I don't use Thunderstrike. I think Thunderstrike is still a bad attack. It still needs to do more damage for its animation time. So on that tune, I was running a rotation of Jacob's Ladder, Chain Induction, Cross Punch, over and over and over again, and that did enough damage to it could circumvent the fact that the individual powers weren't very strong. And then I would use Lightning Clap as like crowd control, and that was fine. And then yet somehow, with the change to Chain Induction, I find myself lacking in consistent single target damage on that tank. And I don't know if it has to do with the fact that there were some enemy changes too, because now you can actually fight true +4s at level 50, because now they can spawn at 55. But I also did a pylon test with it, and that one came out to 5-6 minutes, which is horrid. That's not very good. So I don't know. I kind of feel like Tanker's lost on this go around when it comes to electric melee. Now, on the other hand, the Scrapper that you're seeing on screen right now definitely won. For the main fact of that, the one thing that electric melee was missing for a Scrapper was a really, really chunky single target attack that was fast and punchy, because Thunderstrike was not it. So instead we got Lightning Clap. And I'm sure you've seen it a couple of times on the screen. Whenever I get the crit strike proc going off, it does chunk a boss down really, really fast, which is fun to see. It is super fun to see. Although I will say it's just a main gripe of Scrappers in general, and that the entire AT hinges on this one archetype proc, which is critical strikes, because other than that, it's not great. And then, chain induction does have the benefit now of benefiting from the critical strikes activation. So it does feel a little better in that department, which is good. So basically, what you have now is electric melee can be spec'd into a single target specialist set. Pretty interesting, because it used to just be the AoE set. You'd run your Jacob's Ladder, you'd run your chain induction, you'd run your Thunder Strike if that's your dealio. And now scrappers are enjoying, really, really dump trucking a lot of single target damage with the right setup. I can't really say anything about Stalkers because I don't play Stalkers, but I kind of feel like they're missing out. Just because they can't get Lightning Clap. And if I remember correctly in the beta, they were originally proposed to be able to get Lightning Clap. I don't remember what they were going to make it mutually exclusive with, but they just took it away. So now they kind of just only have, Assassin Strike as their big hitter, which, isn't very special. Every Stalker set gets Assassin Strike. So, they're kind of just in the same boat. I will say though, Stalkers did get hit a little bit because now, Lightning Rod will break stealth. So that's a big loss. You can't jump in Lightning Rod, get your free damage, and then still get a crit afterwards. So, man, I guess if you really think about it, they kind of lost out too. So, the consensus is, if you're playing a Scrapper for electric melee, that's the way to go. I would definitely probably pair it with something other than Super Reflexes because, as you're seeing, it got to be a little bit of a struggle. Even with, the soft cap and everything like that, it wasn't that good. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my little first impressions of Electric Melee after a couple of weeks. And let me know if you found an Electric Melee tune that you're really enjoying lately. But as anyways, you guys have a good day, and I will see you next time.